And right now we are coming up about 73 and a half hours from going over that fiscal cliff, the one they're pushing us off. And of course, everyone's scrambling to scrape together a solution. They're doing that in the Senate right now. But is the House doing anything at all? Congressman Aaron Schock joins us. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good to be with you, Greta.
Nice to have you. And of course, everybody's blaming everybody else. Republicans blame Democrats. Democrats blame Republicans. And I've always sort of thought that leadership, as it goes a little bit more beyond that, that you all sort of, you have political opponents, but that you rise above it and have solutions for the American people. Where's that leadership?
Well, it's been lacking, without doubt. And look, kudos to you for holding elected officials' feet to the fire, my party and my colleagues and ourselves included. I will tell you, it's for us, House member. I can't be a House member, a senator, and the president all at once. The House is led. We have tried to be the party of ideas, the body of ideas. As you know, this summer we passed a bill to keep tax rates low for everyone. It's been dead in the Senate. Harry Reid won't take it up. After the election, we said to the president, John Boehner, as you know, got criticism even from my party, saying, look, Mr. President, we'll meet you halfway. We'll give you the $800 billion in revenue. The president comes back and says, no, I want $1.6 trillion in revenue, doubles the number. So then last week he said, all right, let's try and get as many of the hostages out alive. Let's try and keep as many people's taxes from going up, try and create the certainty. And we couldn't get a single Democrat to join with us on a similar bill to what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer introduced this summer, which was saving all taxpayers $1 million and below from their tax rates going up. Not a single Democrat last week would join with us. So what I'm beginning to believe, Greta, is this isn't a problem of two well-intentioned negotiators not being able to come up with a deal. This is really the House having to negotiate with itself, and the president, who I believe is beginning to show his cards, which is someone who doesn't really want a deal, who for whatever reason believes that it's to his political benefit or a potential gain for us to go over this cliff to try and make us look obstinate in the House, and somehow it's our fault. But we have been trying to negotiate. We've been trying to put ideas out there in good faith.
All right, well, earlier today, and obviously I have the president's statement, so I'm going to pick on him. He says, I just had a, quote, good and constructive discussion here at the White House about how to prevent this tax hike on the middle class. And I thought to myself, what does good and constructive mean? What was it? How about some specifics? And, all we hear is this sort of blather about how, I met, I hear it from both sides. It's like, what exactly is it that says good and constructive discussion? Because we have a deadline very close.
Amen. And you know what? Enough of the rhetoric. Let's get down to substance and stop changing the rules in the middle of the game. You said during the campaign, the president was very clear, I want $800 billion in taxes. And if I get $800 billion in tax revenue, I'm going to cut $3 for every $1 revenue. So that's $2.4 trillion in cuts. The election's over. He won. I didn't vote for him, but you know what? He won. He got more votes. So John Boehner said, okay, we'll give you the $800 billion in revenue, but let's talk about the $2.4 trillion in cuts. And he won't do it. He won't give us any cuts. And so why do we need to sit down and talk and talk and talk? Either make good on your campaign pledge and deliver the $2.4 trillion in cuts. The House has already said, we'll give you the revenue that you've campaigned on, recognizing you won re-election, but we're not going to go along with higher taxes and more revenue and more spending if we're not going to deal with the fundamental drivers of our debt.
Congressman, you said that $3 of cuts for every dollar raised in income, and I hear revenue, and I hear the Republicans say it all the time. So I decided to fact check you all, and actually I did find, someone found it for me. On April 13th, 2011, the White House released the President's Framework for Shared Prosperity and Shared Fiscal Responsibility, and includes this paragraph. The President's framework would seek a balanced approach to bringing down our deficit with $3 of spending cuts and interest savings for every $1 from tax reform that contributes to deficit reduction. And they says that this is consistent with the bipartisan Fiscal Commission's approach. So, yes, he did say that, and, yes, we don't have that, and, yes, we're approaching this deadline.
So how do you negotiate with that? I mean, how do you negotiate with someone who said during the campaign over and over, $3 in cuts for $1 in revenue, and now neither side is going to get everything that they want, but the House Republicans have said, okay, we'll find $800 billion in revenue, but give us the $2.4 trillion in cuts, and he's not been willing to do that. And so the last-ditch effort, the Hail Mary pass last week, was the House of Representatives saying, fine, let's take Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer's bill that they proposed this summer was to extend the tax rates on every household and every small business $1 million and below. allow them to go up on the $1 million and above, which is the current law on January 1. Let's do that. That ought to be something we can agree on. Mind you, let me just add this. When we voted on our bill in the House this summer that was a clean extension, which was an extension for everyone in America, not only did every Republican vote for that, but 19 Democrats did as well. So this is why it's so frustrating for those of us in the House, is that now we're close to this cliff,
and it's frustrating,
and we can't even get a single Democrat to join with us.
Well, if you think you're frustrated, try the American people as they watch what's going on. But, Congressman, thank you, sir. Good luck, sir.
Thanks, Greta. Call the Senate. Get them to act. We can't negotiate with nothing.
I don't think they listen to me. But anyway, thank you, Congressman. And straight ahead, it isn't just the fiscal cliff